or we'll wait a bit for other who is joining.
Oh, good afternoon.
Hello, let's check first if Monica is here, because she's the main person today.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yes, she is here. Okay. Okay, so let's start maybe with hellos from Yaroslava, then just a few words from us, and we will tell you the plan for today. Ярослава.
Доброго дня, шановні освітяни, учителі англійської мови. Сьогодні з вами Агнєшка Хибель, Альона Зарахович та Моніка Гуцовський від міжнародної освітньої групи Пірсон і я, Ярослава Козіна, від Центру професійного розвитку педагогічних працівників міста Києва. Дякуємо, що знайшли час у наших складних реаліях для професійного розвитку. Dear colleagues, thank you for joining the session. On previous sessions, Agnieszka and Alona showed us some practice of effective teaching and learning on the platform. Today, we present digital masterclass for more experienced users. This one-hour webinar provides valuable insight into some of the features available on the platform, how you can use it to create a positive experience for your learners, students, and co-workers. We all have different level of experience. However, thanks to Agnieszka and Alona's efforts, now we are ready to move forward to ACE level. Definitely, I'm just kidding, because it's impossible to catch up with technology development. But teaching and technology undeniably go hand in hand. That's why we never stop learning. Enjoy the session, and over to you, Alona.
Well, thank you, Yaroslava. I enjoyed your speech. It's great. Actually, I agree that we all are learning all the time. Therefore, and I think that this is one of the best features when you are a teacher, that you need not to only give and teach someone, but you learn all your life. And it means you stay just young by learning all the time. Well, today we prepared a masterclass for you with Monica. We are here with Agnieszka and Monica, and mostly we decided to have the class. First, Monica will share some new features and her experience, and maybe some commonly asked questions, and then we are waiting for your questions. I'm sure that you have some. While Monica is talking to you, me and Agnieszka, we will respond to your questions if they appear while talking and while listening. Well, and before I move to Agnieszka and give her the stage, I'd like maybe to announce that we are planning to continue our sessions, and we already promised a primary session for August. Therefore, stay with us. Register or follow our Facebook page, that is Pірсон Ukraine. And Agnieszka, over to you.
Just a few words from me. Hello, everyone. We have over 120 people here. This is unbelievable. You Ukrainian teachers are just, the more I work with you, and especially now with in these difficult times, the more I admire your enthusiasm, your dedication, and your willingness to learn as well. Thank you for that. And today, as Aliona said and Yaroslava in the first words, we are here to help you master the skills, because we invited our colleague Monika Gutowska, who is a specialist, our teacher and training support specialist with digital resources with our platforms. And she will first take you through the more advanced functionalities of the platforms, the settings that you can play with. And if any questions come up on the way, either write them down or you can ask them and we will try to respond and leave some time at the end for you. So you can either share what you have experienced with working with our materials or ask your own questions. So over to Monica and let's enjoy the session. Any questions? This is the more interactive session, 130 people already. So a big crowd, hands up or questions in the chat will be okay. And while we are not talking, let's mute ourselves so that we can hear well. Okay, so Monica, over to you.
We already have one hand, I see. Irina Zirka.
Excellently.
Monica?
Hi. Hi, everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to the digital masterclass. As Agnieszka and Aliona mentioned, I'm a digital specialist and trainer on my English Lab and Pірсон English portal. And today I will walk you through some more advanced options such as Zoom and how to set up a Zoom class. I will also talk to you about virtual class that can be set up in the active books that you will use throughout your teaching process, and then we will move on to my English Lab. And there I will also tell you more. Sorry, I will tell you more about some important settings when it comes to assigning homework to your students. So first of all, let me share the screen. Okay, let me check with Agnieszka. Agnieszka, can you again maybe give me the option to share my screen?
It should work now. Can you try?
Okay, yes, thank you so much. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, this is the dashboard that you will see after logging into the platform. And then once you add your products, you will have those different titles on your dashboard. You can also add some of the most used ones to your favorites by basically going into one of the levels and then selecting that star and then just add it to your favorite, so you always have it at the top of your list. So first of all, once we take a look at the dashboard, in the upper right corner, you've got the dashboard link, the settings link, notifications. You can also change or adjust the language of the page into one of the languages listed here. You can also access the help page for Pірсон English portal, and I will talk more about it soon. And then you can sign out of your account. When it comes to settings, we've got some account settings. These are your personal information, such as your first name, last name. You can also adjust your native language here and country of residence, and you will also see your email address. If you want to receive any notifications from Pірсон English portal, you can also adjust this box to receive any kind of updates about how the platform is changing. Then you can also adjust the password if needed, and you can also add some institutions if you haven't when setting up your account. Getting back to the settings, we also have assignments and performance, and these allow you to adjust some specific settings when it comes to your Pірсон English platform products. But more of that, I will tell you more about it when we switch to My English Lab, because the products that you're currently using, so Focus and Wilderworld, these are primarily My English Lab products. Therefore, the settings for that platform will apply there more. In order to be able to set up a Zoom class, you will have to link your Zoom account to it. Therefore, once going into your settings, you will see the Connected Services tab. Here, you will be able to connect your Zoom account to your Pearson English platform account, and then you will be able to set up the class. Basically, once you access your account, it will say either login or connect. You will be asked to create a Zoom, a free of charge Zoom account, or log into your existing one if you already have an account on Zoom, and then it will link to your profile on Pearson English portal. What it does, it basically will allow you to, first of all, create classes. So if we go into the classes tab and click on add new class, you will be able to select the Zoom class and then provide the details such as the name of the class, for example, 1B class, 1B class. And then the class end date can be adjusted, but it's always 1 year from the date of creation. You can always customize it using the calendar icon. You can also set up a color for your class. Once you do that, the class code for your students will appear. You can copy that information and send it to them via email or any preferred way in which you communicate with your students currently. Once you click on Go to Class, you will be able to set up all the Zoom classes. In order to do that, once we have set up our class and our students have joined it using the code that you provide them with, you will be able to set up a Zoom online classes. So in order to do that, we go to the class schedule at the end of our menu here, and we pick a date and time. So first of all, we click on Zoom lesson. We can pick, first of all, give that lesson a name. So for example, 1B class online teaching, let's say, and then we pick a date and the time in which at which the class should start. And as you can see, for any free Zoom accounts, the lesson cannot be over 40 minutes, so we have to adjust that time. Okay, got it. So we will have that 40-minute limit to our account, and then once we do that, we go to the participants list. So first of all, we pick our class. We can see our students on the list, and we can also check the teachers. So if we have any additional teacher, we can also invite them to that class. Once we click on create lesson, that lesson will be created and should show up in our calendar right here. You can also copy the link and the password. It will be also sent to your students. You can start the lesson or you can close it for now and then start it when the time comes. So as you can see, we have set up our class 10 a.m. on Thursday, 12th of May. Once we open it, again, we can copy all the information that our students need. We can also edit the lesson or duplicate it. We can also provide lesson description or add it to our personal calendar. So that's how you set up our Zoom classes. Before we move on to the into the active books and our virtual classroom, let me walk you through the help page that we have for Pearson English portal. So if you will be using any of our products later on, you can see that we've got two instances of our help pages, one for teachers and one for students. In the one for the teachers, we have a very simple section on how to get started. So how to register your account, how to add the product and reset your password if needed. In using PEP section, you will see all the different materials covering each and every aspect of the platform. For example, how to manage your class or how to add some more students into your classroom. And of course, some editing of the profile settings. Once we go back to our page, we also have PEP tools and components. Here you will be able to find some more information about the Zoom integration, Active Teach, ebooks, and so on. We also have some free teacher resources, some downloadable guides and video tutorials. And finally, if you need any kind of support regarding your product or your account, you can always get in touch with our support teams by using contact support. In case you want to join our other live webinars in order, for example, to refresh some of the information that was presented by Aliona or Agnieszka, you can always join our live webinars. We've got two dedicated webinars. The first one for how to start with the platform, and the second one on how to actually assign stuff, and then some about the grade book for Pearson English portal. So now let's move on to the active book. So I will click on this icon that says active book on it, and I will be redirected to our second platform that we will cover today. And here I was asked to guide you through the virtual classroom, which is similarly to Zoom classroom, also an interactive classroom that you can use with your students. So once you are in the active books, you will go into Groups tab. And here you will be able to add a new group by typing in the name of that group. Let's stick to 1B class. You can add a group and then it appears on the list. As you can see, I already have a test class that has 2 members in it and that has a unique code. Again, that code needs to be shared with your students so they can join your virtual classroom. Once we do that, we can switch our virtual classroom, and I will do that now. So what you will see is that, first of all, we have the chat option. Or maybe starting from the left-hand side, we've got our users list that show us which students from the list are currently logged into the system and can take part in our classroom. We've got the whiteboard with some additional tools that allow us to write, draw, upload some pictures. Also the audio and video feed that would go from my camera and my speakers to that system, and then the chat in which I can type in messages to my students. So give me just a second and I will switch the virtual classroom on my students account so that they can also take part in our class. Okay, so we are currently logged in and my student is already there. I can message them. And then my students will receive that notification that I've just messaged them. What we also can do, as I mentioned, for example, you can add a photo here, and then the system will add a photo that then, for example, we can discuss with our students in the classroom. It might take some time to upload it, and then you should see me on a camera in a second. Okay, and yeah, there's some issue, maybe just my internet connection is not that well today. So basically you can do those different things. You can also clear the board. You can save the picture. So for example, if you're also writing something on it, you can leave it, and then the student sees exactly what you have put here and will be able to respond to that. In the right-hand menu at the top, you will see that you are able to now give your students an assignment while you are all in that virtual classroom. You can also post a question or divide your students into breakout rooms in which they can discuss a specific topic. For example, you want them to discuss their latest the latest movie they've seen, for example, and then you can break them out into those rooms. There is room for some discussion, and then they come back and share the results with you. So I will just show you how you can ask a question. So here you can type in a new question for your students. For example, how was your weekend? As an example, and you can send that question, and here you can publish your students' answers, or you can also publish them with their names if you want to. And then a student gets a notification that there is a question to them, and they can answer. So now I'm answering as the student, and I can send the answer. I can see the answer as the teacher. The same goes with an assignment. So if I now assign some content to my students, first of all, I have to select the book that I'm using, and then I can pick a specific section and also select specific exercises. I can preview the exercise if I want to before I assign it to my students. So that preview option is also present there. Yeah, it has to be my internet connection. So sorry for that. Because it's all interactive, as you can see, it takes a little bit of time. So I'm selecting that exercise, and I will start the assignment. Here I can see how my students are doing. And now as a student, I got the assignment, I open my lesson. And now just give me a second for it to load. So here, as a student, I can start answering the question. So we've got interesting, boring, loud, quiet, positive. Let's do some stressed and sociable. And I can check my result, and I can submit it. For my teacher, I will see the errors, the checks, and the total score that my student had. And because I've got 2 students who got the exercise and only 1 that did it, for now it's 30%. Okay, so that's how you can use that classroom. So again, you can assign some assignments while in that virtual classroom. You can ask some questions. If the class is big enough, you can also move them to breakout rooms, and you can also use the whiteboard if needed. And finally, you can end your class, and that all of that will be submitted. If you need any specific help on active books, you can contact us using using the link here at the bottom. Okay, something is not working. Yeah. So we've got the help here. Okay, I'll try that again later. So that's about how to use a virtual classroom in the active books. Going back to our dashboard, you can also go to my English Lab platform, which will be of your main focus because of the products that you're using. So first of all, we always select the product that has my English Lab label on it, and then we are redirected to our main platform of interest. And here you've got 5 main tabs. We've got assignments, course tab, gradebook, messages, and settings. And here the most important thing is that the assignments that you have in the or the activities that you have in your course box, they can be both practices for your students or assignments. And here the most important thing is to tell your students about that difference. So practice activities, your students can access their practice activities from the course tab. So whenever they are in the course tab, they can practice. So they can do the activities and get scores for that you will later see, but this is not their homework. They can use it for some extra practice. All the homework that is being assigned to your students will be in the assignments tab. So in order to see that difference, let me go back to the course tab, and I will assign some exercises for our students, and then I will show you the students' perspective on how it looks. So first of all, you pick the product, and of course, you create the course using that product. And then from the left-hand menu, you can pick the section in which you are interested. It can be a unit or it can be a whole workbook as we have for focus. Then in the central part, you will see different units associated with that book. And then we also have the subunits that you can expand using that arrow right here. For some of the exercises, you can see teacher graded label, which basically means that once you assign it to your students and they do it, you have to revise it. You have to go through your students' answers and then give them grade. If any of those activities doesn't have that teacher graded label, it means that these are automatically scored by our system, which means once your students submit it, they will receive their grade immediately. So if you want to, you can also click on the name of the exercise to see what it looks like from, first of all, teacher perspective, because it, as you can see, it already gives the correct answers. But here in the upper right corner of the page, you've got switch to student view, which enables you to see what it looks like for your student. And here, the most important thing is that once your student do the activity, they should always submit it, because if they save it, then their answers are saved, but it's not submitted for scoring. So once they finish, they always have to click on submit button, and that's how they get a score. So I will pick some of the exercises now, and I will click on assign. I will select my students, and in the I will also select a due date. And here are some important settings that you can customize. So first of all, you can decide upon how many attempts your students should have to do the activities that you have selected. You can go with the unlimited number of attempts, or you can go from 1 up to 20 attempts. So if the exercise is relatively easy, you can stick to a smaller number of attempts. However, you can always pick the unlimited option, and then once your students achieve a maximum of 100%, that's when they finish. Then, because I haven't selected any test, I cannot adjust the test attempts, but if you had the test, you will also see the drop down here. The next thing is to automatically set score to 0% if a student fails to submit an assignment or a test. And this basically means that if your student didn't meet the deadline, they will be graded 0% for each unsubmitted activity. And here, what is important to remember is that even if you reassign that activity to them and they do it for the second time, that 0 stays on their account, and then the next score they get is the new score, but it's still, the 0 is still counted in their average score. So if, for example, you will be taking into the account the average score and they haven't submitted something and they got that automated 0, it basically means that it will influence their average score in a negative way, even if they did it sometime after that first attempt that they did not submit. So here you can decide whether you want that. If you don't want it, you just have to untick that box and then leave it blank. That means that if they don't meet the deadline, they just don't meet the deadline, and then you have to reassign that activity to them, but they don't get any score for that. Then we've got hints and tips, and these two are displayed before your students submit anything. Hints might be shown as little question marks under a given example in the whole activity, which means that they only refer to that particular example. Tips, on the other hand, they are displayed in the upper right corner of the page as yellow light bulbs. If you click on it, your students will be given general advice on, for example, grammatical structures used in the whole activity. Then you can also enable timer if you want to. If you enable that timer and, for example, give 15 minutes, it means that for each of those 3 exercises, they will get 15 minutes. So in total, they will have 45 minutes to complete those 3 activities. Then you can decide whether you want to show feedback to your students. We've got 2 types of feedback: positive feedback if the answer is correct, marked in green color, occasionally followed by green check sign and green chat bubble, and negative feedback if the answer is incorrect, marked in red color, occasionally followed by red cross sign and red chat bubble. The next 2, so capitalization in exercises and punctuation. If you decide that your students should pay attention to that, you should always switch it on, and then they will receive a notification in yellow saying, this exercise grades capitalization, or this exercise grades punctuation in the exercises. If you don't want it, you switch it off. If you leave it on default, it means if the capitalization was considered as important or crucial, it will be counted. If not, then the system won't pay attention to that. Another option that you can turn on or off is whether your students can see additional buttons that says show answers. Here you've got option to never show answers, or you can decide upon the number of attempts from 1 up to 20 again. And if we select that after second attempt, our students will get that additional button. It means that we've got 2 attempts submitted. They click on try again. On the 3rd attempt, they get show answers button. If they click on it, the system will tell them all the correct answers, but they won't be able to submit the activity for the 3rd time because the system already told them what the correct answers are. Therefore, there is no use for them to try answering the questions they already know answers to. So if you don't want that additional button to be shown, you just click never show answers. If you want to, this number of attempts has to be smaller than the overall number of attempts. So if we put 4 and 4 here, the students won't be able to use the button. If we put 2 attempts and then overall of 4 attempts, they will get the chance to get to that button if needed. And because I have 1 teacher graded exercise, these are specifically either longer written forms or spoken activities, such as please record your answer to the question, for example. You can also show model answers to your student, which basically means you will give them an additional advice on how to organize, for example, their written work. And the maximum score available, again, something that you can adjust. You can pick 5 points, you can pick 60 points. It all depends on the complexity of the exercise. Once I click on assign, this practice activities become assignments, and assignments are found in the assignments tab. You should see that reminder each time you assign something, and this is the homework that your students are given. So now let me just go here and into my account, my student account. So this is the one below is the teacher. This is my student account. Once I go into my English Lab platform, I will see that in the assignments tab, I have some homework to do. So I can see the start date, the due date, how many attempts I have remaining, and then I can also open that exercise and start answering that. As you can see, this is my first attempt out of 4. The time is 15 minutes and it starts going off. I can submit my activity, I can exit. So each time I have that exercises here. As for the practice activities, as I've told you, these are in the course tab. So once your students go here and go into one of the units, let's say in vocabulary, you can see that some of the homework exercises, these are selected as assigned, which means this is your homework. This is a practice. So for the open link, this is the practice. They can do it. They don't have number of attempts because we haven't told them that they need to have somehow limited number of attempts. And now I can submit the exercise. I get my score immediately because this is an automatically graded exercise. I can try again. And here what you will see is that the correct answers are being left. So I only need to fix my other ones, and then I can submit it for the second time, and then my score improves. Here you can see the show answers. So if I click on it, I will see the correct answers, but now I don't have a way of trying again or submitting the activity. I can only exit it or move on to the next one. And once you do that, in the gradebook tab, you will be able to see the grades for your students. And something that is very interesting is that if you've got that blue bar on the left-hand side, but you don't see any scores in the assignments or tests, it means that we have to switch to practices, and then I will see that my student did that as practice. So you have to decide whether you are allowing your student to do everything as practices, and then you give them a score based on that, or you want them to focus primarily on assignments, and then they can do practice activities in their spare time. The settings here, these are, again, for students, you've got courses, personal profile, and notifications. So students can get notifications from the system. They can get a notification for when they have a new assignment, when their assignment has been graded, 12 hours before their assignment is due, 14 days before their course ends, and 30 days before their subscription to the product expires. Because your product, so a teacher product, has 3 years. It's active for 3 years. For students, it's only 2 years. So each 2 years, they will have to renew their access to the product in order to be able to use My English Lab or Pірсон English Portal again. For teachers, as I've mentioned, it's 3 years. So if you go into settings, what you will see is you will see your course management section where you see your courses, the name of the assigned product, how many students you have that, when your access to the product expires, and when your course ends. And you can, of course, manage that course. Then you've got some personal profile where you can adjust all the data, as well as verify your email, select your country of residence, adjust date, time format, native language, or change your password. You also have the ability to switch on notifications, and these are when students submit their assignments to be teacher graded, and it only refers to that teacher graded exercises 14 days before your course ends and 30 days before your subscription to the product expires. And one last thing that I want to mention is the help page. Again, upper right corner of the page, we have the help link. First of all, if you have any questions around the product that you're using or any functionality, you can get support right here, but you can also go through our sections on getting started or using My English Lab. Here in that second option, you have everything put in one place. These articles have been written by my team. They include step-by-step instruction with all the screenshots included. So they basically guide you in a very, very simple way from one step to the other on how to efficiently use our platforms. Of course, if you wish to, this is also available to your students. They have a slightly different link, but they also have those articles saying on how they should go about their homework, where they can find their practice, or how they should find their grade. If you want to, we also have live webinars. Again, the first one is on how to get started, set up your class, and so on. The second one is on grading and reporting. These are delivered in the current time zone that we are in. So Warsaw and Kiev one. And we have them basically at different times available to you. We also have some downloadable guides if you wish to download something and then just browse it through in your spare time. Okay, I guess that's it from me. I've talked a little bit too much, I guess. So now back to Agnieszka and Aliona. Thank you so much, guys. And if you've got any questions, yeah, you can ask them right away. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Monica. Some people wanted to see you. If you can switch on the camera for a while so that they know who was talking to them. I cannot switch. Oh, I have switched on mine as well. So this is Monica, and there was one question from Svetlana, I think, about how can teacher add students by their emails into the group with proper assignments. I'm not sure I understand the question well. So Svetlana, if you
am I.
yourself,
Maybe Svetlana can switch on her sound and explain.
Explain what which situation you are talking about, and when would you like to register students by their emails. Is Svetlana with us? Because it was Svetlana, I think, who asked the question. You can unmute yourself. Svetlana Krasutska. Disappeared.
Well, what I thought we didn't mention before, how to add students if a teacher wants to add students herself by having their emails. That's what I thought. But the fifth one can't join themselves to the group.
Okay.
Svetlana explained that one of her classes can't join to the group she created. I'm afraid that they don't have a proper code, because quite often have two codes for extra practice and for homework practice, like workbook, and students have only extra practice. I had some questions. Monica, maybe over to you.
Sure. So when if you can see my screen still, if you've got a student that cannot join your class for whatever reason, you can try to register it. You can try to register them yourself. So when you are in the settings tab, because I assume it's for my English lab, then you select the course you want to register them in. And if you go to manage link, the first tab that you will see is manage students. Here you can click on register new students, and then you can either do it one by one by providing their first name, last name, email address, and the username will be generated on the basis of their first and last name. Or you can do all 5 in one. You just need to download the template and then upload it to the system by providing, again, first name, last name, email address. And then once they log in with the details that you will provide them with, so the username and the password, they will be asked to provide the code. So the access code that they had in the book. And once they do that, they will be in the classroom. However, if the code is an issue, then they will be in class, but the system will ask them over and over again about the right code. So Svetlana, you can also contact us by using that getting support link, provide us with some more details and maybe codes that you sent to your students, and then my team can check it and get back to you with some answers. Yeah, no worries.
Yes, Svetlana explained it. Yeah, we see. Yeah, Monica, can we see?
Yeah, no worries. And then we also have the student need a new book. It all depends. Sometimes we will be able to switch the code. It depends on the product and then the pricing for the product. So yeah, it needs some proper investigation. So I just don't want to, make it too simplistic if it's not.
I can add a word here on codes because some of your students and yourselves probably have the codes active before, meaning that the students activated the codes that they had in their printed in their books. Okay, and we have here you need to be aware of what the students are activating, because I'm showing you an inside page of the book. This is Focus, And inside here, you may have a lot of different configurations. So for example, the students may get, if they are using a printed student's book with My English Lab or online practice access code, this should open, from now on, this should open both the digital student's book to them, because we added the digital student's book access to the printed course book. Plus, it will open the extra online resources and the full MEL, the full online workbook. If they are only using the book without MEL access code, they will get, again, the digital course book. They should get the digital course book plus the extra online resources, but not the full workbook, right? So you have to check what code exactly your students are activating, because the problems with access that you mentioned may be the problems because of the very code that the students are using. Since the war started, as you probably know, Pірсон has supported Ukrainian teachers and displaced students by offering you free access to books like Wider World and Focus to you and to your students. So if any of your students, and we are approaching the end of this action, so if any of your students are missing access, or they have, for example, moved away from Ukraine and they cannot access their materials, we still can help you get the proper codes for your students.
Yeah, and we put Olga Yarska in our Western.
Yes, region. Olga, who is also helping teachers, especially in the Western Ukraine, because this is her region and she operates there. So you can ask. Someone is not on mute, and it's okay. Thank you.
I already muted.
Thank you. So I think I hope my explanation was clear about the codes. And what Monica was showing, the Active Books platform, if you are using other Pірсон materials, you may have slightly different functionalities active. Our Active Books is the idea that we developed last year and started using last September. It has got much more interactivity than any previous format of our digital materials. And our aim is to move towards this format with all new titles. For now, you have this format available for Wider World, for Focus, and with adult learners for Speak Out. We will be adding new books in this format. So you can expect such functionalities with all new Pірсон titles. Okay. Any questions?
Hello, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi. So I'd like to ask you if it's possible, for example, if I'm already have been using your platform for a while, and my students bought this year new books with Active Book inside, but I don't have this access. So is it possible to get it, or I need to buy a new teacher's book for that?
You don't need to buy anything, just write to us and email to myself or Aliona, and we'll activate this access for you. We'll send you the teacher's book.
Maybe we need to tell to everyone, if you have the old teacher's access without Active Book, just email us and we'll provide you with the code, as a new code.
Okay, thank you. And the second question was about Active Books as well. So if I already have a group, in MEL, so with online workbook, do I need to create a new class, or I can add it to Active Books? So how it works? Is it combined, or it's two different classrooms?
So basically, how you do it is, if your students already have an account, you go into the Active Book tab, and in the Groups tab, you have to create the class and then give them the code, but they can reuse the accounts they already have for MEL or PEP. So they don't have to create a new account, but they have to join a classroom, because what we've shown you today is that we have integrated 3 platforms into one landing page. That landing page is Pearson English Portal, and from that you can go to Active Books, which is another our platform, or My English Lab, which is the 3rd one. So basically each of those, they need the separate classrooms, but the good thing is that you can use the same account to have all those 3 in one place.
Okay, I see. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no worries.
Anything else that you would like to ask or clarify? Yaroslava, your hand is up.
If you have no questions, I'd like to say a few words. Frankly speaking, Pearson won the respect of teachers around the world. And I really appreciate everything you've done and hope to have more mutual projects in future. I hope we will have a lot of opportunities to develop and enhance professional teaching and learning practice together with Pearson and you, Agnieszka, Alona, and Monica. Also, Kyiv Professional Development Center for Educators and personally me would like to invite you to join English teacher community. From my experience, I can confidently say that teaching collaboration is really a crucial part of our work. You can find information about the center on Facebook page Центру професійного розвитку педагогічних працівників міста Києва. And a bit later, we will have the site with all necessary information about effective training, professional development, and support. We are open for cooperation. And if you would like to get more info, please do not hesitate to contact me. I am putting my email in the chat box. And Agnieszka, Alona, and Monica, thank you for a really invaluable experience. It was great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Slava.
Yeah, that's another question, but Monica already replied, therefore I think that.
Yeah. And with Svetlana, the issue with the registration, if Monica's explanation is not sufficient, let's get in touch directly, and we will take you through the process. Okay.